Wow. When you get to lifetimes and reincarnation, you get to bigger cycles. Like you have the precession of the equinoxes and the constellations, and how the equinox moves 1 degree every 72 years through the degrees of the zodiac against this background of the stars. And this is how they measure the precession of the equinox. And that means it's 2,500 years, 2,100 years or so in each sign. That's in the sidereal signs. If you took the constellations, they fluctuate more differently. But the idea of 72 years for each degree, it's like we have a lifetime in each degree as the sun goes around the galaxy. And moves through the constellations. And so for each degree, some people believe that to become an ascended master, you have to live 360 lives, one for each degree, and live it. And as you've experienced and accumulated experiences, then you can begin to fathom the whole cycle instead of just the orbit. So you have a linear circle or orbit, but really if you make it a sphere, it's a sphere of understanding. So in lifetimes we come in and we try to develop whatever sphere we can. This little sphere or drop of water that I am adds on to the next one. I have like beads on a necklace. And as it goes through 367, we develop, wow, 2,500 year, 2,500 year cycle, which is the great cycle. And we live and experience all the things there are to experience from one lifetime to another. So we're looking at our specific lifetime. We have shadows and experiences from the past we haven't dealt with. The whole chart represents all the things from the past that we still have to deal with. That's why we're here to work through, to keep on going. And then we have to push forward so we can change things in this lifetime so we don't come back to just the same old thing again. We've evolved it a little bit for the next lifetime. But getting your confidence, getting your willpower, like Mars is your muscle power, but the sun, it's your confidence, it's your willpower. I'm radiating, I'm being, I'm alive. You know, and it's just a radiant, like the sun god was always an arrogant, playful god. Like usually pictured as a big kid, I'm playing, I'll do the best, I'll win. It has that, and how many people approach your life like that? I'm gonna be the winner, I'm the winner, I got the best partner, I got the best kids, I'm the best person. And then how many of us live somewhat a little less than that, a little bit more humble than that? But even whether you're living humbly or arrogantly, these are all factors, you still have to radiate, and you still can find your confidence at different layers, at different planes of existence. So finding your confidence, finding your heart, really finding your thinking from your heart is the spiritual way. Being able to have heartfelt thinking rather than thinking from your mind. So if you can think from your heart, what's valuable from your heart, wow, even the mind shines. So every time the heart improves or grows a little bit or shines a little bit more, it affects every other function. As soon as we diminish the light of our confidence or our sun, we diminish the radiance that's going out to all the other planets and all the other functions. Wow. What's the worst disease in life? What's the worst thing that can happen to you in life? Wow. I'll take a disease, break my arm, shoot me, just don't break my heart. If you break my heart, how can you get over a broken heart? But we do. In fact, the heart in its essence doesn't ever get broken. It's how we get attached to things through Venus and through our mind and through our memories that seems real, and then our heart gets seemingly broken, and those things fall away, and we're more on our own, more alone, probably closer to our heart, but often very insecure in that inner process until we build up the confidence to maintain that light in a better way. So there's a continuing, the process of evolution or growth or spiritual development stands there in the sun. But it's a texture, day to day, month to month, year to year, across the life, and we're always gaining experiences. And these experiences can fight the sun, or they can enhance the sun. They can align with the sunlight. We can choose to live light or dark, or good or bad. We can choose to think. We can think clearly or not clearly. To me, it's not so much a question of good and evil. It's a question of awareness, alertness, awareness, or ignorance. Okay, so how many people are aware and alert to their soul, to their heart, much less even their soul? And it goes beyond that, but to the one, the super soul, the oneness of all. So even the sense of my soul or my soulmate, my soul is an independent, it's a sense of individual souls as separate from each other. So I can have my soulmate and you're it or whatever. This is still the shadow of the ego. It's not exactly the soul. It's still the ego. So if you lose a soulmate, wow, it's amazing how the next person who comes in, it must be my real soulmate, not that one. It's amazing how these can fluctuate. So looking for our heart, trying to live it more, trying to trust it more, trying to have confidence more. To do that, we have to get through our depressions, our angers, our rages, our thoughts, our desires, our lusts, because those are all veils that interfere or take away attention from just radiating. Really, it can't. Our heart's just radiating there whether we know it or not. We just can let a little more or less of that energy through. So the sun being the heart and soul, it's two things. Usually for 99% of people, it's just your ego and your confidence around your ego and how you're projecting and how you're being and how you're sure of yourself. And I will do this. It's your willpower around your ego. That's basically what it is. But that's not the end story. The real story is, how does that ego dissolve and become open and become a radiant soul? To get the radiant soul, one has to destroy the sense of duality and get to a sense of oneness. So as long as you're thinking me and them, or I did this, or that person's doing that, or that's my lover, or that's my mother, that's this, and as long as you're thinking me and them, me and the others, you can be sure it's your ego that's functioning. When there's no words, when there's silence, when it's ready, when it's just wonder, you're getting close to the sun. We get moments of that in great creative inspirations, but something magical happens if we can get to a point where we're living our sun and being it without duality, and all the planets are spinning around, all the functions going on, but we're centered in our heart and in our soul. So even though we tend to think of Neptune as the planet of faith and belief, really, if you're just being love, it goes beyond faith and belief. It's dynamically alive and all healing. So, okay. I never can do justice to the sun talking about it. I'm always trying to point which way it goes. So it's, when you look at a chart, you don't just say, oh, there's the sun, there's your willpower. No, it's like, here's your sun, here's your challenge in evolution. Where are you in the scheme of evolving your heart? Are you hurting people? Are you helping people? Are you open to things? Are you closed to things? Are you arrogant? Are you angry? Are you depressed? What filters are you putting over on top of your heart? Why on earth would we do that? Just for the hell of it? Just to punish ourselves for having failed and not being a winner? Everyone's a winner because you got a lifetime. It's just such a precious treasure to be alive. It says some souls wait thousands and thousands of years just to get an incarnation. It said other souls are here and going through, well, eventually we go through every experience there is, probably every animal, every being, everything there is to live. We have to live it to catch up to our sun, our purpose. But in a simple way, it's your confidence. But confidence can come out as an arrogant ego. I'm confident, I'm pushing this, I got my job, I have my wife, my kids, I'm pushing it. That's one level of confidence, and that you can see in the sun. And we're usually trying to get that level. We have to get that level of confidence. So if we don't have that confidence, it's hard to reach for bigger things. But sometimes that confidence becomes an arrogance, an insensitivity, and a separativeness. That very essence of it is more the earth than the sun. It's blocking the sunlight. And we have to learn to let the separative things fall away and realize, how can I eat if anybody around me is starving? How can anyone on the planet eat if someone on the planet is starving? You know, much less people killing each other, fighting for this or that. It's a zoo. It's a crazy. But we're in it. But You know, even in the middle of war zones, there's always one or two saints living in the middle of the war zones that they have the little shack or little place living people. They're helping people around them, but then the war doesn't come right to their doorstep. It is by people, and they're inspiring people. But there's always special beings on the planet. Everyone's a special being. Everyone's in a process of growing and dying and coming back and growing and dying. This is part of the process. So you don't, if you don't believe in other lifetimes, you still can see this process of evolution to coming to your light and coming to your heart. It's amazing when you think back what you think love is when you're 13 and you're ready to die because of some rejection or some, you put anything online for some sexual rejection. Then at 30, it's a different thing. At 45, love is a different thing. At 60, it's a different thing. As we're sitting on the edge of death and we're older, love is a different thing. Still there. Still can be shining. But the body won't stay for that long. It's just part of the moving planets moving around the sun. So, okay. When you're trying to work with a church, that's going to build up a confidence, but you want to look at how much of the soul is evolving, how much is the heart opened up or blossomed, and how much is it not. I mean, we can have a kid, and my kid's so important that I'm closed off to everybody else. That's still ego. It's love on one level to the kid, but it's still ego, it's mine, it's this, it's separate, and there's the rest of the outer world. So how to get inspired, how to pump, how to be alive, how to be in the moment, radiating, not just alert with Mercury, not just content with Venus, not just at peace with your memories, but alert, alive, dynamic. Not, if you go to sit still and meditate, one of two things happen. Either you sooner or later get tired and you fall asleep, or it opens up and without words you get wide awake and you can't possibly sleep. So the sun is a living organ. It's your heart and your body. It's your confidence in your life. But if your heart's being affected, if you have problems with your heart physically, there's also going to be parallel problems with your heart radiantly in the way you're living and in how many filters you're trying to put on top of your heart, how many chains you have on top of it. To the sun, to love, time-conditional love, those filters are nothing. They're not even affecting the sun. They're only affecting your reception of it. Like when the clouds come up, we can't see the sun. It doesn't mean the sun's not there. It's just there's a filter stopping us from seeing it that much. It's still there. Even at nighttime, sun's still there. Hasn't changed. We're just turning our back to it, or the earth is just turning around to it. So, okay, this is so I want to just, each planet's a puzzle that we're solving all our life, something, a dynamic matrix. We're working, we're evolving, we're adding experiences to, good or bad. The soul always gains from the experience, but is rarely attached to any experience. It transcends and it happens. It's just part of life. Whew, how much can we be like that? So when we start seeing the sun in chart, your sun is coming to life. The moon, the memories, the thinking, the thoughts, the alertness, the values, the desires. I mean, those are all really tertiary things compared to just being alive and having your heart beating in your life. So your spirit gets here. That's the mystical, magical mystery tour, I guess we call it. It's just the radiant thing. So that it happens is incredible. Everything alive that has a heart that beats, that's happening for. From insects to fish to animals to birds to humans, all of us, we got hearts and minds and emotions and memories in different frequencies. I've done charts of horses and done charts of a snake once. I've done charts of a bird. Long stories. Anyway, I won't stay on there, but everything has its life and has its potentials within a lifetime.